Oh, it's too small for me, that.
Maradona.
You know how dumb you have to be? You're talking about the guy who grew up in a jiu-jitsu dojo, who's dedicated his entire life, who was the baddest man walking the planet. He would be faking all this for what? Because of Ciryl Gane? No one's scared of Ciryl Gane. It's a great matchup for Tom. Yeah, but he struggled for that round. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why the fights are 5 rounds, dumbass. I do not get it. I don't get it. It's heartbreaking. After 4 months, he's still doing 18 eye exams and counting, 3 different prescription glasses, double eye surgery, 32 eye drops per day, balance loss caused by vertigo, blurry vision, consistent black spot, double vision makes him sick, he can't drive. He has to have a driver, man. Struggles to use his phone, play with his kids.
Dana White, several UFC legends, and many fans have strongly criticized the incident, claiming the eye poke appeared fake and may have been intentional. They questioned its legitimacy, with some suggesting it looked exaggerated and accusing him of trying to influence the outcome of the fight.
I want to see a main event end, any fight end. Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it went out.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Ciryl Gane off.
Let's start with the facts, because there's been a dangerous amount of fiction floating around. In October, at UFC 321, Ciryl Gane accidentally poked Tom Aspinall in both eyes during their heavyweight title fight. The bout was ruled a no contest. Simple enough, right?
There should be serious punishment for eye pokes in the UFC. And if it's egregious, you should be DQ'd. And so Ciryl Gane, you fucking forked his eye with your hand fully open. And then when you landed his eye, you like hooked it. Like, what did you think was gonna happen, bro? I'm gutted for these athletes to go through a whole fucking camp just to have that happen. And then for the fans to just cancel because some dumb shit.
Except what happened next was anything but simple. Aspinall has been dealing with severe ongoing eye complications ever since. We're not talking about blurry vision for a few days. We're talking about a black spot in one eye that never goes away. Double vision, peripheral vision so damaged that his own padman says if he moves his arm slightly to the left or right, Aspinall can't even see it. He can't shake hands without missing. That's a running joke in his gym. And in the north of England, they'll take the piss out of anything, so you know it's bad when even that hits differently.
I have been in Manchester this week. I went to Tom Aspinall's double eye surgery room. Now, they didn't let me in the room. Sterile place, believe it or not, when you're doing operations on eye. But we released a big article about it today. A lot of new information has come to the fore about Tom, about his situation, and it's pretty harrowing, if I'm going to be honest with you.
His eyes kept changing, so much so that he went through 3 different pairs of prescription glasses in just 3 months. And here's the key detail. His surgeon, a doctor with 25 years of NHS experience performing around 1,000 surgeries a year, couldn't operate until the eyes stabilized. That meant Aspinall had to wait, watching his vision improve slightly, then degrade again, improve, then degrade, over and over.
You mentioned the eye issues. It's such a... I think I saw a lot of people like, oh, well, why isn't he doing anything? Why did it take this so long for this to happen? Oh, he finally found a doctor. The doctor, by the way, 25 years with the NHS, 1,000 surgeries a year, this guy. Like, this is a top of the food chain eye doctor he is.
It wasn't some back alley.
He misses people's handshakes is what they're saying. Like a simple handshake. I remember you mentioned too, like Dana White will devalue his own product, which doesn't make sense. But that's how powerful Dana White's statement is when he goes like, oh, he didn't want to continue.
Here's the problem is what makes Dana great is he shoots from the hip and he's not, so politically correct, right? He just says what he says. And right after the fight, you can see how Dana can say that. But the issue with that is now that gives energy and that gives perspective. So the rest of the UFC trolls jump on that, and now it just ignites the fire on top.
Yeah.
He finally got his double eye surgery, both eyes, at once, and he came out of it saying he didn't know if he could go through that again. This isn't a LASIK procedure. This isn't a vision correction. This is a man fighting to get basic normality back in his daily life, and there's still no guarantee it fully works.
Oh, Jesus, don't let me talk about Tom Aspinall's eye. Apparently he's going in for a second surgery or just had it, or, and by surgery, I mean injections. I have no idea. Get a quote from him. God fucking forbid I say something about it. Go ahead.
Now let's talk about the misinformation, because it's gotten genuinely out of hand. Recently, former Strikeforce champion Josh Thompson went on social media claiming the UFC had asked Aspinall to vacate the title, and that Aspinall had responded by demanding his release so he could pursue boxing. The story spread fast. It sounded credible enough, and Thompson presented it like it was confirmed information.
The reports are out that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. And he said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him. Now, that opens the door so he can go ahead and box. This is a really weird situation. The heavyweight division is just a total shit show right now. And it's been a shit show since the John Jones coming in, not wanting to fight, you know, the interim champion, which was Tom Aspinall at the time, and then fighting Stipe. No disrespect to Stipe, you know, but it was just, John had something in mind, and the UFC didn't squash that. They allowed that fight to happen, and it just led into this thing where the heavyweight division's been on hold since the John Jones debacle, I guess you would call it. Bottom line is, Jailton Almeida is gone. Okay, they just released him. Tom Aspinall, if he is gone, John Jones doesn't seem like he's coming back, especially not to the heavyweight division. We have a mess. We have a disaster on our hands. The heavyweight division and the 205-pound division, the light heavyweight division, both weight classes are the worst that they've ever been. And these used to be the pillars. This used to be what would carry the promotion. When the merger of Strikeforce and the UFC happened, the heavyweight division was the strongest it had ever been. And the light heavyweight division, honestly, UFC was built off of the light heavyweight division. This is wild to me, man. The 135, 145, 155, and 170 right now are carrying the sport of MMA and definitely carrying the UFC. More to come.
There was just one problem. It came from a well-known fake news account, a troll account, one that MMA fans have called out repeatedly for inventing fights, fabricating quotes, and manufacturing drama. Paisley Carroll of Uncrowned, who had just spent time in Manchester with Aspinall's team, visited the eye hospital with him, and spoke to his surgeon, went straight to the source, and the answer was unambiguous. No one from the UFC has contacted Tom Aspinall or his team about vacating the title.
One of the biggest names of all of mixed martial arts, and of course one of the hardest hitting fighters that's the sport's ever seen. A two-weight division champion, of course, is he on the verge of fighting for the heavyweight title? Because that is what he's hinting at. He took to Twitter and he posted with no context, no clues, no opponents, no nothing. He just put 1, 2, 3 and go. And as a man where the most thing that he says is Shama, credibility to this, they said that the UFC went to Tom Aspinall and asked him to vacate the belt. That's because he just had a double eye procedure, double eye surgery, whatever you want to call it. He had
Aya's Tom Aspinall fighting career is over, yes. Almost UFC has been forced out of action due to lingering eye injuries caused by repeated eye pokes, effectively sidelining him from the UFC. To keep the division moving, the UFC is now giving Alex Pereira the opportunity to step up and continue the fights. On the other hand, some fans point out that John Jones was once given a 1,000-day break during a major issue in his career, whereas Aspinall has been out for just over 100 days, yet the UFC is already moving on without him. Many feel this is unfair treatment, sparking debates among UFC legends who have voiced their concerns about the apparent injustice and the UFC's handling of Aspinall's situation.
And because I had about 5 or 6 eye surgeries, I do know a little bit about this. So real quick, let's talk about this. Tom's going to need, apparently, eye surgery. It'll probably just be a minor thing, like a realignment of the tendon, but things can go wrong. Joe is absolutely correct, 100% when he says that things can go wrong. My retina was reattached after it was detached against Vitor Belfort, and then it redetached, and then they fixed it again. And then I got glaucoma, because once you start messing around with the eyes, in fact, just like any part of your body, once you start going in and messing around with it, it's never the same again. It's never quite as strong, and things can go wrong. Now, medical science has improved, thank God.
At UFC 321, Aspinall went up against Ciryl Gane in what was supposed to be his first title defense, but the fight ended in a no contest after Gane poked Tom in both eyes. And let's be very clear, this was not Tom's fault. He was the victim here. Fast forward to today, and Tom has now undergone double eye surgery. He's been dealing with double vision ever since that fight. He's on the road to recovery, but there is no confirmed return date. Zero. None. It's been over 4 months since that fight, and the heavyweight division is completely stalled.
It's very obvious. So when he's looking up and in, the left eye is going up and in extremely well. Yeah. The right eye is kind of stopping. You see how the right eye is just not as high up as the left, and it's not as turning to the left as the left eye is. And that's a restriction. So the eye wants to go and he wants to track it, but the more I do this, the more he's going to start aching in that upper inner aspect. And what he's going to do is, if he's in a fight situation...
And then Tom himself went on social media and posted something that really hit different points. He said, and I quote, "I love mixed martial arts. I'll never stop loving it, but I just hate the business. I think that fighters are completely replaceable, and the business will make you feel like that any chance it gets. Even if you get hit with an illegal move which could affect the rest of your life, they don't really give a damn, and no one else does either. That is a champion who is hurting, not just physically, but emotionally, and you can feel it in every single word." Now, things got even more chaotic when a fake report started making the rounds on social media. The rumor claimed that the UFC actually went to Tom Aspinall and asked him to vacate the heavyweight title while he recovered, and it spread fast. Even ex-UFC fighter Josh Thompson was posting about it like it was real.
UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. He said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him. Now, that opens the door so he can go ahead and box. This is a really weird situation. The heavyweight division is just a total shit show right now. And it's been a shit show since the John Jones coming in, not wanting to fight, you know, the interim champion, which was Tom Aspinall at the time, and then fighting Stipe. No disrespect to Stipe, you know, but it was just, John had something in mind, and the UFC didn't squash that. They allowed that fight to happen, and it just led into this thing where the heavyweight division's been on hold since the John Jones debacle, I guess you would call it.
Michael Bisping caught wind of this rumor, and here's what he said. He said he actually understood it. He said if the UFC did ask Tom to step aside, he would get it because they wouldn't want to run another interim title fight after the whole messy situation Tom had with the interim belt in the first place. But, and this is important, Bisping confirmed the rumor is completely false. Tom is still very much the heavyweight champion of the world. He hasn't been asked to vacate anything. The report was pure fiction.
And when they said they went to Tom and asked him to vacate, I kind of understood it because they probably wouldn't want to do an interim title fight because of the whole debacle that Tom went through with the interim title, and then to bring another interim title in, that would seem kind of weird and seem kind of crazy, right? Interim titles all over the place.
While Bisping said he sympathizes with Tom Aspinall, and he does because Bisping himself went through multiple eye surgeries during his own career, he also came out and said something that is going to be controversial. He said the show must go on, his exact words. "I understand what Tom's saying, because you do feel like the whole world has turned on you, and he wasn't the person at fault. He wasn't. But this is the world that we live in. The show must go on."
Does either, right? And I understand what Tom's saying, okay? Because you do feel like the whole world has turned on you, and certainly when he wasn't the person at fault, he wasn't. But this is the world that we live in. It just is. The show must go on.
He said the UFC is a massive worldwide corporation. They have a business to run. They have events to put on. And as brutal as it sounds, if a fighter gets hurt, the machine doesn't stop. Bisping compared it to any regular job. If you get injured at work on a Monday morning, the factory doesn't shut down. The deliveries still go out. Life goes on. Now some people are going to hear that and get angry. And honestly, that's fair. Because Tom Aspinall is a champion who was hurt by an illegal move through absolutely no fault of his own. And now he's being told the train is leaving without him. That is a tough pill to swallow.
to tell you, brother. This is a sport. It's like,
Ciryl, you were fighting a wonderful first round.
Fortunately, in my career, it was saved by, well, it wasn't saved by medical science. They did their best, but ultimately I did go blind. But for Tom, fingers crossed, he'll be okay, right? Now, everyone that's come out of the woodwork, and if you just look at the comments of that tweet from Joe Rogan, that little clip, my God, there's some people out there, they don't know what they're talking about, man. This is the heavyweight champion of the world. He's not a duck. He's not trying to get out of a fight. He wants to come back and kick Ciryl Gane's ass. He put that in a tweet recently. The man's pissed off, and I can't wait for the comeback.
So when I'm done, I'm done. I'm not gonna be like, oh, how many do you think you have left? Fact. Less than 10. What? Less than 10 fights? 7. You are? You surprised? Yeah, I thought it was like 4 or 5. I thought you weren't gonna fight past 40. Well, I know that's still less than 10. less than 10. Less than 10. Okay. I thought it was a lot less. I don't know, 6, 7. Now, yeah, who knows? Like, I know it's less than 10. It can't be past 10. So if I fight now, fight one more time towards the end of the year, maybe. That's 2 fights. If I do 2 fights a year, fuck. Next year I can still fight. 2028 is where I'll be like, I don't know yet. I don't know. I can't see past 2027, but I do know 2028. I don't know. I don't think that far ahead at the moment, but I do glance at it, but I don't really try and focus on it. I just know I'm on the tail end. I can see the finish line. I've been seeing the finish line in the distance, but now it's closer. But who knows at what pace will I get?
Israel Adesanya has broken his silence about the end of his legendary career. The last stylebender says, I can see the finish line. Israel Adesanya, ready for the final chapter of his storied combat sports journey. The former 2-time UFC middleweight champion has confirmed his retirement is closer now and likely coming by 2027. In an exclusive interview on his YouTube channel, Adesanya revealed he has less than 10 fights left in the tank.
What do you think you want to do when this is over?
So I have a plan in place because I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I know I'll need something every, like maybe thrice a year where I feel like I'm going to die. So again, if I said, okay, I'm done fighting now, then okay.
Let's start with the bombshell announcement that has the MMA world talking. When asked directly about how many fights he has left, Adesanya didn't hesitate. Quote, less than 10. It can't be past 10.
Less than 10. What? Less than 10 fights? That, you are? You surprised? Yeah, I thought it was like 4 or 5. I thought you weren't gonna fight past 40. Well, I know that's still less than 10. less than 10. Okay. I thought it was good.
To put this in perspective, at 36 years old, with a professional fighting career spanning 25 years when you include Izzy has over 100 professional fights on his resume. That's an incredible amount of mileage on any athlete's body. Here's how the math breaks down. Adesanya is set to fight Joe Pyfer at UFC Seattle on March 28th. If he fights one more time toward the end of 2026, that's 2 fights this year. If he maintains a pace of 2 fights per year, which has been his standard throughout his UFC run, he could still be active in 2027.
Middleweight champion Ciryl Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Adesanya, former 2-time middleweight champ, 16 of his 24 wins by knockout, and Joe Pyfer is on a 3-fight win streak. And since winning the Contender Series, all but 1 of his wins have come by finish.
But here's the key quote. 2028 is where I'll be like, I don't know yet. I can't see past 2027.
2028 is where I'll be like, I don't know yet. I don't know. I can't see past 2027, but I do know 2028.
Adesanya continued, I just know I'm on the tail end. I can see the finish line. I've been seeing the finish line in the distance, but now it's closer.
I do glance at it, but I don't really try and focus on it. I just know I'm on the tail end. I can see the finish line. I've been seeing the finish line in the distance, but now it's closer.
Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Israel Adesanya is currently on a 3-fight losing streak, the worst of his professional career. He lost his middleweight title to Sean Strickland in September 2023, then came back to lose to Dricus du Plessis in his immediate rematch attempt. Most recently, he suffered a knockout loss to Nasruddin Imavov in February 2025. For a fighter of Adesanya's caliber, someone who dominated the middleweight division for years, this has been a humbling period. But here's what's fascinating. Izzy isn't making excuses. In the interview, he reflected on the Imavov fight, saying he's watched it 4 times. Why? Quote, just to see the improvements I made, the speed, the way I was, my activity in the first round.
Against Abus, he came out and showed some more of his repertoire, his grappling, and he submitted Abbas in the second round. He's known for not wrapping his